I'm going to introduce Kate Owen, who has just released her first album after having been a singer-songwriter for, I think it's 20 years, an awfully long time. What's that?
I think so.
Yeah, and counting. She's local to Littleton, but currently hiding out in Mapua, where she's hunkering down for our hibernation period, but will be coming back to Littleton. And yeah, over to you, Kate.
Hello, everybody. It's nice to see you all. I was just saying before, you're the most people I've seen for a long time. I have my guitar on, which if you think my demeanor is a bit odd, and I also have this microphone because when I sing for you, I'll plug in. What I wanted to talk about today is essentially the role of artists in movements for change, depending on what sector you work in. Musicians and poets often write about matters of the heart, romance, which is quite an old model in itself, as far as, relationship goes. But I found my sort of writing being dominated by my own personal pain or personal joy most of my life. And the album I wrote, Not a Proper Girl, Exhibit A, no pants on. There you go. See, no pants. I don't know if you can see. That was a album that was written being a 45 or mid-40s woman. I hadn't had children. I felt very excluded and very kind of not good enough because I hadn't been picked or married, and which is very strange because I'm a feminist, but it was so entrenched in me that it was a big deal, and I felt that nobody wrote about that kind of thing. So it was a bit of an existential midlife crisis sort of situation. But the songs on the album are very much about personal pain, personal joy, personal love. Whereas what we're going into now, I think, in society is the pain of the planet and the issues that we have around survival, and much bigger than just whether or not I've got a boyfriend or whether or not someone picked me, or my own personal emotional collateral checklist. So what I found myself since writing this album doing is starting to write about other things. And what I'm curious to explore today is what role artists have in making visible calls to action from major change agents. And for example, if you look at Extinction Rebellion, I haven't seen much in New Zealand, but globally there's been some really amazing visual art installations, whether they be human or otherwise. There's the old celebrity endorsement of people that are well recognized, standing up for certain causes. But I'm really curious at the end of this to sort of find out from you guys what role you think artists have to play, or how you could use them, how you think they should be contributing. And also was curious to know of any examples of musicians, poets, public artworks, or anything else that you feel have really made a significant difference to either visibility of a cause or the people's ability to emotionally connect. So yeah, I like this person who's against like a sunset. Who's against the amazing sunset? Hello. That's very cool. All right, so I think I'll sing you a song. So I'm going to sing you two songs. The first one is I'm going to sing you the typical romantic sort of song written for this album that was about the things I talked about, being middle-aged woman without that thing. And then the next one I will sing you was, even on this album, my writing started to go a little bit towards a more global view of humanity, and that song's called Clean. And then after that, I'll sing you the most recent song I've written, which isn't on the album, which is essentially about discovering that I am responsible also for making change, and whether or not that's going to be a lonely experience, or whether or not the people that I love and care about will come on that journey with me. So you're going to have to excuse me as well. I'm using my iPad. I rehearsed this whole album and I booked a tour, and it got cancelled after this first show, just before the second show. So I'd recorded the songs on the album, which is a very specific process, rehearsed them with a band for the tour, and they changed a lot. And so now I'm back to playing them solo for the first time since lockdown. So this could be a bit ropey, but I'm going to do my best. It's a song called Better Man, and it's dealing with that concept I was talking about of being told as a woman that my life's journey would involve somehow or another being made complete by somebody else. It would be, as a heterosexual woman, a man, and just you'll hear it in the lyrics. It's a pretty standard love song thing. So this is where I was. So it's called Better Man. How does that sound? You hear that? I might play it how I played with the band. We made it more like this. Don't crowd me, I'm still broken, still got teardrop in my hand. I always thought I'd be with a better man. And don't laugh at me, I'm still so sad, still got this teardrop in my hand. And I always thought I'd be with a better man. Sister, won't you tell me what's a girl to do when she's taught her heart's only good as part of two? I always thought I'd be with a better man. Don't toy with me, it's no fun when I got this teardrop in my hand. I always thought I'd be the better man. And don't love me unless you can hold my teardrop in your hand. I always thought I'd be with a better man. Sister, won't you tell me what's a girl to do when she's taught her heart's only good as part of two? I always thought I'd be with a better man. Thank you very much. I can't hear you clapping, but I can see you waving. Oh, is that the Zoom clap, is it? That's awesome. So yeah, that was a song, as you can see, is quite traditionally structured, and I'm really proud of the album. I'd love you to go and have a listen. It's called Not a Proper Girl. You can get it on Spotify and Apple Music. I recorded it with Ben Edwards and move that out the way. I recorded it with Ben Edwards on in Littleton at the Sitting Room. Ben's recorded for people like Marlon Williams and Eldris Harding, and he's a magician. And the album's full of other instruments. So there's violin, keys, drums. Some of them are quite rocky, some of them are very stripped back. It's got some great reviews, which I'm very proud of. So that album, Not a Proper Girl, is there if you'd like to listen. If you just want to watch the videos or listen on Spotify, it's all there. So as I was saying, this was a sort of a coming of age album for me, probably in a lot of ways, to stand in my own reality. But the other part of the reality that's becoming very clear to me is that it might actually not be a bad thing to have not had children. A, because it makes me available to other things that might need nurturing, and also because, you know, the planet doesn't necessarily need more people. I love kids, by the way. I would have loved to have them. But so the next song I'm going to sing you is me going into a slightly more universal writing style, which kind of happened while I was doing all of this other stuff. This is a song called Clean. And on the album, it's recorded with a lovely young pianist called Tom Harris, who's a very sensitive player, with some backing vocals from Anita Clark from Mott and Devilish Mary. If you're from Christchurch, you'll know Anita is an amazing violinist, and she does some backing vocals on this track. But this is a song about essentially what we're looking for in life, I guess, is some kind of truth, some kind of universal reason. And this is just, I guess, seeing myself and all of us more alike than different. So this is a song called Clean.
2. I'm just a child waiting for a mother. I'm a great-grandfather remembering his lover. She's just a girl who dreams of a house and picket fences. He's bruised and broken, his life's a battle in the trenches. All of us fools looking for the truth, drowning in lies. Wash me clean. She drowned all her sorrows in a sea full of glass, while he dragged his rainbow backwards through the mud. She looked high and low for love in the strangest of places, while he scored back alley highs and jewels at 10 paces. All of us fools looking for the truth, drowning in lies. Wash me clean. She's just a Catholic girl waiting for redemption. She's kicking off her shoes and dancing in detention. He's a freedom fighter one day. He'll save the world until he realizes he's just a man, not a god. All of us fools looking for the truth, drowning in lies. Wash me clean. Wash me clean.
I love the waving. So yeah, a more universal song, I guess. So my little journey, sorry.
No, that's fine actually.
Is
You know, it makes you feel that you're in this concert kind of an ambience.
Well,
Go ahead,
I won't
mic
speak on it
anytime.
just because sometimes it's hard to hear when you're on the mic words. It's good for singing, but it's not good for words. So after lockdown, I was on tour, and I'm now in Mapua in lockdown, strangely enough, which is a very beautiful place to be. But I'm here considering very seriously what next. And although music will always be at the center of my life, in some ways it's not as important as a lot of things to me at the moment. But that's why I guess my question is as it is, which is, what do artists have to offer with their art form? What have you experienced, I guess, from that? And I think before we talk about it, maybe I'll do the last song, which is the one that is the new song. It's not on the album. And I wrote it in response to what I was finding out about how I'd been thinking and how it needed to change. That thinking about myself as a human being wasn't all I needed to think about anymore. Yeah, because I think being an artist can make you a bit navel-gazing, to be honest. You're supposed to be mining your emotions, and we're taught to put ourselves as humans at the centre rather than the whole system. And I come from a very individualistic society, so on and so forth, with the added bonus of the romantic myth and consumerism, which is fun, isn't it? So this is a song called Follow, and it's written as a query, I guess, that if I go down another road, if I become outspoken about issues like the environment, or what we eat and how we eat it, how we do life, will I be, I guess, alone within that? And because I know that it will affect some of my closer relationships who find all of that stuff a bit much. So yeah, this is a song called Follow. It's very new. So bear with me. Just going to have a sip of peppermint too. You have no way of knowing whether that's whiskey or tea. It's great. You can't smell me. Okay. Let me just try and remember how this goes. I never knew the pain in my heart was a comic one. The lies I told because they were told to me. Now I know there's no other way I can live this second half. Will you follow me, babe, or will I walk alone? I'm just a girl who didn't know better, blinded by a world all weary and weathered. Will you follow me, or will I walk alone? Will you surrender your throne so we can find our way home? Will you follow? Oh, hey. Will you follow? The first time I knew that I was just a cloud of dreams, a child with a heart and a mind only made for love. But soon I learned that pure hearts were not enough. So I swallowed the truth and said, yes, sir, I will. You see, I was a girl who didn't know better,
blinded by a world war weary and weathered. Will you follow me, or will I walk alone? Will you surrender your throne so we can find our way home? Will you follow? Will you follow? Wavy, wavy. So yeah, that's me. That's where I'm at. So yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys and just see what you feel about. Sorry, what you think about the question I have around the role of the arts and how we can, yeah.
May I make a suggestion here? We have about 3 minutes until we'll break into the next session. Can I suggest you reframe or restate the question, and then everybody has a moment to think about it, and then they put their answers together into the chat?
Sounds great. So the question is, what role do you think the arts have to play in being agents for change, whether that be, do you think it's just about doing what we do, but writing about different things, or do you think, I don't know, or if that's not the question for you, maybe the question is that you could answer is, what's the most moving display or most change-making display of art, music, poetry, group gatherings, dance, whatever that has really moved you towards a cause? You know, we've got all the, you know, Bob Dylan and all that sort of stuff back in the day, but it's harder to pick those in modern life because we write about other things.
Thank you. I popped the questions into the chat window as well. And Kate, I'd highly recommend you opening that because there's a whole bunch of people raving about you.
Ah, that's so kind. It's very nice. Well, this has been fantastic. I'm quite surprised at how nervous I got. My knees are knocking. It's the first time I've performed for a long time, and I guess it's hard because I can't feel you guys easily from here. So thank you for having me. It's been great.
Is there anybody that we have another 2 minutes left? Is there anyone who would like to share an answer back to Kate? And you're welcome to unmute yourself and speak up.
There are some
Yes,
comments.
I will.
Go ahead.
Kate, on that question, I went to a talk maybe 18 months ago by Ethan Shapiro here in Wellington, and he expressed it so beautifully that actually what artists in all their form are doing is like a training ground for exactly the qualities that we are needing going forward, you know, so the artists are who are going to be leading this conversation completely.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I share a little story? Trish.
Hi, Trish.
So I'm Irish, and back home in Ireland, my sister, who is a musician, part-time, she started a retired men's music group, and she found herself back home after a family tragedy and has started, so all these men were at home, a lot of them very, very lonely and widowed or retired and just lost a sense of, you know, being. And just through the work that she has done has started this amazing movement of, it's like Men Shed but singing for men, and they've just been, it's just, and they're doing Zoom sing-ups now, so they are our catch-ups, so that's really cool. That's really lovely.
Brilliant. I love that. Very cool.
Thank you. Kate, what we'll do is we'll take the comments that are in this chat along the side and we'll pop it into that shared Google Doc. In the program right next to your name is a link to that.
Thank you.
So if you want to refer back to those, you're welcome to. And if anybody wants to stay in touch with Kate, her contact details are on her website, kateowen.co.nz. I'm advertising for you.
Totally. Please, the album's really easy to listen to on Spotify. It won't cost you a cent. You're welcome to buy it, of course, but it won't cost, well, you know, it's there. It's there to listen to, and I'd love you to. Yeah.
Thank you so much for everyone who's coming. And now you've got 2 minutes to check out the program and get to your next session.
Thank you for having me.
Loving you, Kate. Feel free to
Loving
stick
you
around
too.
and pop into another session. You've got the program.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Kate.